Hello, welcome to the 106th running of the Indianapolis 500 post-race show. Well, there we go. This is 500 today. Thank you so much for joining me. It is Sunday, May the 29th, a couple hours after the 500 is completed, and what a race, huh? Very, very interesting. Lots of different happenings led to Marcus Ericsson with a fantastic drive, a fantastic win for Chip Ganassi Racing. Ericsson was kind of one of those mid to lower tier drivers on his team. Not saying he wasn't at the top of the team, but we talked about Polo, we talked about Dixon, we even talked a lot about TK and Jimmy Johnson. He was just consistent all month, towards the top in all the speed charts, qualified well, was really between 2 and 6 all day. So what a great drive by Marcus Ericsson. What a fantastic win for he and Chip Ganassi Racing. When it got down to it at the end, they were the fastest crew, and he did a great job those last few laps after the red flag, swerving to break the flow of air to Pato O'Ward and people behind him. And also he held off Pato O'Ward coming into turn 2 or to turn 1 on that restart. Pato was going for it, and Marcus Ericsson held him off. So what a great finish, a great win for Chip Ganassi Racing. A couple heartbreak stories, really. Polo, fantastic month, amazing car. Bad luck. Scott Dixon with his speeding violation. Sage Karam with a last lap wreck. He, I think, last I heard, got transferred to the hospital with possible concussion and soreness. Jimmy Johnson with a wreck. He had a great story going all month. Scott McLaughlin with a really hard hit. And the worst, biggest heartache is probably for Rinus VeeKay. Towards the top all month. A fast race car. Family right there in the pits. He's ready to roll. That orange car looked awesome. He was probably going to be the best bet for Ed Carpenter Racing, and unfortunately it snapped behind him, hit the wall. So let's go ahead and now look at the full field rundown from 1 to 33. All right, the winner, obviously, is Marcus Ericsson with Ganassi Racing. A fantastic run by him, as we mentioned. Just a great... A great end to the race by Marcus Ericsson. It was one of those things where, sorry, I'm pulling up the final results here, but he was just really consistent all day. His Honda was really quick. He had the kind of the tutelage of Dario Franchitti right there, which is amazing experience. So hats off to him, a well-deserved champion. The second Swede to win. Just a really overall, he seemed genuinely excited. He's a heck of a driver. Came over from F1 because he liked the racing, so there's a good opportunity. And now here he is, an Indianapolis 500 champion. And from the short time that we've heard him talk, he seems like he's going to be a really worthy champion. Excited, loves it, says how happy he is, and everything like that. So in second place, Pato O'Ward with McLaren. He led 26 laps. He was a great car. He was right there all day, right with Dixon, right with Polo, right with Ericsson. He made a run the first green flag corner after that red flag, after the accident with like 4 laps left. He made a run and it just didn't stick. And then from there, just never got the momentum. But a great second place finish for Pato O'Ward and McLaren. Third place, TK with Ganassi. A fantastic run by TK. He led 6 laps. When that yellow flag was out, I was telling my family, man, this is TK's. This is perfect for him. He's third. He was laying back. He just didn't get it going quick enough. He had a great car, fantastic crew. He just didn't get the job done at the very end. But a third place finish, a podium finish, is still amazing for TK. Felix Rosenquist, fourth. The teammate with McLaren, same thing. He was just right behind O'Ward almost the entire day. They were just almost attached, and he had such a good car. He could put it anywhere he wanted. He was following O'Ward all over that track, and a great finish for Felix Rosenquist with McLaren. Fifth place, Alexander Rossi, the highest finishing Andretti car. This was amazing. He did not like his car in practice, did not like it qualifying. I think he liked it better on carb day, but now to finish 5th is amazing. He was really unhappy early in the month, not happy at qualifying, and here he is, a 5th place finish, just a heck of a drive for Alexander Rossi. 6th, Connor Daly. He ended up being the highest Ed Carpenter car. He was right there all day, and you can see a little bit of maturity and a little bit of change in what he did, because as Scott Dixon was ahead of him, he wanted to pass him, and he did a couple of times. He went back and forth, but there was about 10 laps there, I think. He just tucked in behind Dixon and just saved fuel and did what he needed to do. So a great run by Connor Daly. What a great local story. He's one that's getting better every single year at this place. So he could be a champion very, very soon. 7th place, Elio Castroneves. 8th place, Simon Pagenaud. Those Meyer Shank cars back to back. A great run by those guys. They started in the back. They didn't really have the speed all month, but they were right there in the thick of it with 20 to 30 laps down to go, just like you kind of thought they would. I thought they'd be farther back. I really didn't think they had a legit shot, but they were up there. Both top 10 finishes. Fantastic month of May for those guys. 9th place, Alex Palou, led 47 laps. He was about 30 feet, 20 feet short of the pit line when the yellow light came out, caused him to basically run out of fuel. Penalty, disaster, but he worked himself all the way back up from 32nd all the way to 9th. A fantastic run by Palou, a great month of May. He's a good driver, very, very solid. Okay, 10th place finish, Santino Ferrucci. He was right there all day too. He was battling. He had that cool tinted window on the front of the car at the windshield, and then he had a clear visor. So a really good, cool setup for him. That car was awesome. He is absolutely fearless. He put that car anywhere he wanted, and it was a great run by Ferrucci. Actually, this is what's amazing. This is his worst finish. He's had 4 top 10s, but this is the worst he's finished, in 10th place. In 11th, Juan Pablo Montoya, another McLaren car, an amazing run. He started towards the end and just kept working and finished with an 11th place finish. An amazing run by Juan Pablo. 12th place, J.R. Hildebrandt. Also started in the back, but had a fantastic run with AJ Foyt Racing. A fantastic run. These guys that had the experience, Elio, Pagenaud, even Ferrucci with some experience, Montoya, Hildebrandt, those guys moved up. They knew what they were doing. Hildebrandt was with AJ Foyt Racing. They never have the top level cars, but he was very, very respectable. 12th place finish is a great finish for him. Now 13th, Joseph Newgarden to top Penske car. That's a disappointment. They did not do well this month of May, and Joseph Newgarden, a lot of people were picking him to win. He was kind of that dark horse, and he just never was competitive. He moved up a couple spots right away and then moved back. And it just was kind of one of those kind of days for him. Graham Rahal finished 14th. They just weren't happy with their car all month. They could not find the speed. Graham actually tweeted out a great picture, find him on Twitter, of the nose. It's just covered in dirt and grime and all kinds of stuff. But that is a 14th place finish that he earned. He grinded that out. Everybody loves Rahal, and one of these days it'd be great to see him win. Their car just wasn't there this year, unfortunately. Will Power finished 15th. He was kind of all over the place, up and down and getting past. And one part, it looked like he got passed by 6 or 8 cars on a lap, and then he came back crazy. And just another disappointing run for a Penske car. David Malukas finished 16th after that hard wreck on Carb Day. Good for him to bounce back. 17th, Kyle Cookwood, another AJ Foyt car, a decent finish at 17th. Christian Lundgaard, 18th place finish. Ed Carpenter, 19th. That's disappointing because he was up there, had a problem with 4 or 5 laps to go when that red flag was out, and just put him to the back of the line. And then Devlin DeFrancesco and Scott Dixon and Marco Andretti. Those are the cars that finished on the lead lap. Scott Dixon finished 21st. He led 95 laps. Everybody knows he went through. He was 1 to 2 mile an hour over on the speed limit. That stinks, but part of racing. And unfortunately for the 3rd straight year, Scotty D had the best car and just didn't get it done. Marco Andretti, the last car on the lead lap, led 3 laps, finished 22nd. Again, Andretti was just disappointing all month, and that just kind of fits in line with what happened. They were just so disappointing, did not do what they needed to do, and kind of expected more out of them. But real quick, look at these drivers that finished on the lead lap. Marco on a one-off, DeFrancesco, Lundgaard, Kirkwood, Malukas. That's a win for those guys. They completed every single lap at the Indianapolis 500. They don't have experience. Some of them struggled with their cars. Some of them actually put their car on the wall earlier in the week or month. Malukas, Kirkwood. Lundgaard had issues, but he was right there. DeFrancesco was right there. Those guys, even if they're finishing 20, 21, 22 around there, they still were on the lead lap. That is amazing, and that is such a amazing feat. It's really, really good, and that's a lot of experience that those guys. So now we look at the cars that were lapped down. Sage Karam finished 1 lap down. Jack Harvey 1 lap down. Sato. All of those guys were involved in that incident in one way or the other. Sage Karam had the worst hit of it, but Harvey and Sato, I believe, were involved in that as well. Karam was rolling. He was rolling, top 15, top 10 at sometimes. He is a great race car driver and just had some sort of mishap on that last lap with the wreck. Jack Harvey was started in the very back, and he worked his way up with a good run. And then Sato, finishing 25th, I think is disappointing. He had a fantastic month. All during practice, he was first, second, third, right there. An okay qualifying, and then he just never really was there during the race. One point he got up into the top 15, I think, but most of the time he was down in the high teens, early 20s. So kind of disappointing for Sato. Stephen Wilson completed 198 laps. Great job out of him, and I owe him an apology in that team. I thought from reading everything and looking at them, I didn't think they were even going to get the car going, but good for them. They were there. They competed, and a 26th place finish is nothing to sneeze at. So good job, Stephen Wilson and that team. Dalton Kellett finished 27th, 2 laps down. Another decent, solid run. He had an incident earlier in the month. Jimmy Johnson led 2 laps, but he only completed 193 after a really nasty accident. That's the one that brought out the red. He went into the wall kind of head on. That whole nose was destroyed. Scott McLaughlin, 29th, finished 150 laps. Another one that wrecked and then kind of kept going from 3 to 4. And when you're going over on the grass and you're looking at the wall, you know that's going to be a hard hit. So thankfully he's okay. I think his wrist is a little upset, but again, another Penske car with an upsetting, disappointing finish. Jimmy Johnson, we'll go back to him real quick. A Ganassi car that had the speed but wasn't quite there. I think he just was gaining a ton of experience and really it sounded like he just enjoyed the day. So hopefully the accident doesn't take away too much from that. Colton Herta, 30th, finished 129 laps. They said they parked him because he was going too slow. His car was off the entire day. He was still at the green flag, was the 3rd highest odds to get it. I never understood that, but he's a great race car driver, but Andretti just never got it going. And then finishing 31st behind him, finishing 105 laps, was Romain Grosjean. He unfortunately snapped and put it in the wall, so he finished 31st. Again, an F1 driver that had a great experience over here, hopefully, and learned a lot of things. 32nd, Calum Ilott, 68 laps. He put it in the wall as well. Same thing. The back end snapped, put it in the wall. And then 33rd, completing 38 laps, leading 1 lap, Rinus VeeKay. Probably the biggest heartbreak in the race is him. He had such a great car. It looked really fast. It was right there. He was trying to break up the Pelot and Dixon runaway train, and unfortunately it snapped, put it in the wall, and his day was in. It was done. So that's it. That's basically 1 through 33. That's all the finishers. Okay, so I want to touch on 2 more things before we wrap up. Number 1, it was Ganassi's month. They were fantastic from the beginning. There were other teams that kind of peaked in there. McLaren did a really, really great job. They were very competitive. 3 finishers in the top 11, basically. And Pato O'Ward and Rosenquist were right there. Pato O'Ward almost won this thing. He was so stinking close. When they add Rossi, it's going to be a nasty team. They're going to be even more dominant. So that team is here. They did a great job of not only being here to compete, but they were in it to win it. And you heard some quotes of their team afterwards, and they were really disappointed in second. So they were not just here to say hi and we're here and let's compete and get a paycheck. They were here to win this thing, and they're going to be a team to reckon with. That's a really impressive bunch, and they did a great job. They were right there the entire month. They were not first or second, but they were kind of in that second tier, 4th to 10th, and it showed. They knew what they were doing. They had their setup proper, and they were ready to roll. Andretti missed the mark the entire month. Nothing was that impressive. Rossi's 5th place finish was amazing. None of their cars were really that good. None of them were really competitive. None of them had a chance to win. You thought Rossi would at the very end there if we kept going, but that was Rossi. I mean, he and his team fixing it up, ready to roll. But the rest of the Andretti cars were really disappointing. Same with Penske. I mean, the highest finishing Penske was 13th. And that was so quiet. They kept showing willpower, but McLaughlin wrecked early, unfortunately, but he was back in the pack. And this is what we talked about all week. These cars in the back of the pack, there were a lot of star power 15th and back, and what was going to happen. And the first few laps were crazy, but they got it sorted out. No big, massive wreck where somebody's doing something stupid. But when you're back there and you're in the dirty air and it's just chaos, stuff like that happens. So poor showings out of Andretti and Ganassi. Andretti and Andretti. Andretti and Penske, sorry. Ray Hall's team just never found the mark, and I know they're super disappointed and super frustrated, but I know that I think this was just an off year for them. I don't know what happened. I don't know what they missed the mark with, but they just missed it. And that's one that you say, okay, they're going to come back next year. I would not be surprised if they come back next year like McLaren is. I think they're going to come back ready to dominate. Penske and Andretti are too big to have this problem. They're too good. They're too historic. They got to get some stuff figured out. So we'll see what happens. But it was really, it was Ganassi's month, right? He had everybody in the top 12. They were flying from the very get-go. And Ericsson was one of those that was kind of second tier on his own team, which is crazy. But he, a well-deserved champion, and good job by Ganassi. They just absolutely owned the month. Now, before we wrap up, I watched the race from home. I followed on the IndyCar app, which is absolutely amazing. Listen to some of the IndyCar radio. Amazing. Watched the Peacock broadcast, and it was not good. It wasn't good. The app was skipping. There was a completely crazy delay, like 3 to 5 laps from the radio broadcast. It was a huge delay. Very unorganized, I feel. We focused on 4 or 5 things and then forgot about other people. We mentioned Montoya once. Alex Palou, once he got his penalty early, he was dead to him. They didn't even mention him again. J.R. Hildebrandt finished 12th. Didn't even mention him. Kirkwood, Lundgaard, all these young guys, didn't mention them at all. Sage Karam, a little bit. Talked a little bit about him now, but nothing about how fast he is usually or anything like that. What was the other one? Ray Hall. Didn't mention him maybe one time. These guys are on NBC. NBC is supposed to be the top level production unit to do all this motorsports. And the Speedway and IndyCar bends over backwards for them. You guys know what you're doing, everything. They were trying to shoehorn so much stuff into this broadcast that it made it really, really bad. It was a bad broadcast. It was. They brought in a bunch of NASCAR stuff that has nothing to do with IndyCar. There's just different philosophies, and they're not the same. I think Dale Jr. is hilarious. I think he's a great guy. I think his podcast is amazing. I think he's a heck of an analyst. He never raced an IndyCar. He never was in the Indianapolis 500. When they went back to talk to Mike Tirico, Danica gave some really insightful stuff, and Dale was trying, but he was so out of the element that he needed to be in. Why was he there? What was he doing? I love him to death, but what is NBC doing having him there front and center talking about a race? That's like, let's send Ed Carpenter to go down and be the color commentary for the Daytona 500. He knows racing and he knows principles, but he doesn't know how a NASCAR car handles and how it operates with this track. There are so many former drivers that are here, that are involved in the media, that are a part of the community. And I love Dale Jr., and I think he's great, but this was not his element. This is not one of the broadcasts that he should have been in. It was not. Danica was great. She had some really good insight. There are tons of former drivers that they could sit there. Start with Rick Mears. Start with that. It was very, very unorganized, and I don't think the app worked properly. Another thing, we showed the 4-time winners 1,000 times, and it was the drive for 5 for Elio, and that's fantastic. And they actually mentioned that we lost Bobby Unser a couple times. Did they show AJ Foyt one time or his cars? No, not at all. I hope to God we keep AJ around, but he's getting older. Why aren't we celebrating this more? The things that NBC was focusing on really made this broadcast very, very poor, in my opinion. We really focused. Takuma Sato was crazy fast all month. All anybody in Indianapolis could talk about was, man, he's good. He'd be a good bet. We lost him. We lost him in the race. Nobody really talked about him. And I know it's tough to go from 1st to 10th to 15th and talk about all these stories. But there are people in the pits that weren't even giving us anything. The radio broadcast does an amazing job talking about what's going on at all times. You need to go back and go to IndyCar Radio on YouTube and listen to these. If you missed it today, it's amazing. And I know NBC says it's visual and they're a reality show, and the common fan doesn't really care about Dalton Kellett and how he reacted from his wreck. They don't care about Stephen Wilson and the amazing human story that he has. with Justin, his brother, passing away, and all that he did to get this ride. They don't care about that. They don't care about Marco. How much longer are we going to have Marco? How much longer is he going to be racing? Let's talk about this. Like, my wife didn't. I said, did you know Marco Andretti's even racing 50 laps in? No, I didn't. They did a poor job of selling who is there with the stars. Great job showing those top 2, 3, 4 drivers, talking about everything going on. Poor with everything else. We're obsessed with Elio, obsessed with the leaders, and that's fine. How did Rossi get to 5th? I don't know. Is he off strategy? How did Palou finish 9th? He was back in 32nd. He was in 32nd, and then all of a sudden you look up and he's in 9th. How did that happen? So I think there's a lot of ways that this broadcast could have been done better. It's really, really frustrating, but this was my own choice. I didn't get my credential, which is fine. I understand why certain people were selected. And I didn't want to pay to go out to the track this year. I wanted to take it easy. And I wanted to sit in the air conditioning. I wanted to listen to the race on the app and follow along and watch and everything. I had stuff to do, and that's selfish for me. But for the normal fan sitting in any other part of the country, were you really tuning into this? I mean, that's what is really, really frustrating to me is the broadcast could have been done so much better. You could have done a better job of selling the speed, selling the courageous drivers, selling the actual event that's going on. We had all these great human nature stories, and it's great. Like TK just came out of nowhere. Oh, look at TK. He's got a chance to win. Well, why? Why does TK do this stuff? It was really, really poorly explained, and I was kind of disappointed. I think the whole broadcast had been done a lot better. But anyway, that's it. The 500 is over. The sun is actually setting in Indianapolis, as you can see out the window there. It's reflecting off me. But I thank you so much for tuning in. I really do. And I don't mean to be a negative Nancy, but the race broadcast could have been done a lot better. I am still frustrated I didn't get a credential. I know. I don't have many followers or many views, but I feel like this show was something that was pretty cool, and I feel like it was pretty fun. I think it would be even cooler to do this in the media center or on pit road or back with the garages or something each evening. I really think it'd be cool to do. So hopefully we continue to grow. Hopefully we continue to prove our worth so we can be out of the track next year. Actually, they come back in August, so I'd love to be there then for a Grand Prix. I think that'd be pretty cool. Maybe do one of these again to talk through that. But I thank you so much for being here. Seriously, it made the month of May fantastic for me. It made it a lot more fun because I could kind of discuss my thoughts, my opinions and stuff like that. And I know my opinions sometimes are out there. I missed the entire podium. I did. I missed everything. I thought Stephen Wilson's car wasn't going to be worth the crap, and he finished. I thought Dixon was going to run away and hide, which he did, but didn't get it done. I thought Jimmy Johnson was going to be up there. So anyway, that's it for us. Marcus Ericsson and team, congratulations. A fantastic race. Good job to all. Roger Penske, thank you for allowing us to continue to love the place and show it love and just enjoy everything that goes on there. Doug Bowles and company, fantastic job. It's amazing to look at Doug on Twitter and follow along and just watch. Starting at 6 a.m. this morning, the gates were open. It was there. And it was insane. It was insane. There were so many people there. A fantastic event. And well done. Well done, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Indianapolis Police, Speedway Police. Fantastic job all around. Great job, IndyCar Series. Thankful for everything that we had this month. Thank you for you for joining us. And I can't wait to do it again. Make sure you please like the video. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to do some different things, especially with IndyCar moving forward. So I'm excited to do that. But we also release daily videos. So hopefully you enjoy those. Thank you so much for being here. And Marcus Ericsson, congratulations.